So what we have here is a recent article on Reason.com by Anthony L. Fitcher about Matthew Keys, who is now facing, actually he's been indicted and found guilty, apparently in 2013, for sharing a password with hackers that were affiliated with Anonymous. And these hackers were able to get in and deface a page on the Los Angeles Times website. So this company that Keys was working for also allowed hackers to gain access to the LA Times website. So according to a couple of articles, this article says that the hack lasted 3 minutes and the website title was changed, and another article said it took 30 minutes to fix the problem, in which case, I guess, either way, basically is a problem. So Keys could have faced 25 years in prison and $750,000 in fines for 3 felony convictions. On conspiracy to transmit information to damage a protected computer, transmitting information to damage a protected computer, and attempted transmission of information to damage a protected computer. So one could say, according to the article, that his sentence was light. The change was really, not that big of a deal, but again, it depends which party you're talking to. So a headline was changed on an article from "Pressure Builds in House to Pass Matthew Keys Defense Court Records" to "Pressure Builds in House to Elect Chippy 1337." The headline was discovered within 40 minutes and corrected in about 3 minutes. And the prosecutors alleged in the case that Keys was disgruntled and he shared his login credentials for Tribune websites with hackers, telling them to, quote unquote, go fuck some shit up. And apparently that actually was the case. But Keys claims a couple of things. He says, number one, he was actually doing an investigation into Anonymous for a case, for a story. And he actually did not find out until on Twitter that he had been indicted on these 3 felony accounts for the defacement. He claims he's innocent still. However, he also claims the reason that he was prosecuted with such vigor essentially is because it's Sacramento, and this prosecutor has never had a case that dealt with technology or the CFAA law, so he wants to go after the whole terrorism approach, and it's the first case that he had that actually would get him some fame. Keys is basically saying that we should all be concerned because the average American also is more than likely having a problem. Keys says that the CFAA is antiquated, and essentially the law was written before there even was a World Wide Web, which is true, and it is in some ways antiquated, but there have been laws since that have updated the CFAA. But his concern is that any citizen could run afoul of the CFAA, and he gives an example that if you share your Netflix password with a friend or family member, and you're working on a story about leaking of government secrets, the government might use that against you. So Keyes correctly says that the CFAA is really an antiquated law that's 30 years old. And yes, it was around before the World Wide Web, but there have been updated laws since. He goes on to say, Keyes says that, if you're sharing your Netflix password with a friend or family member and you happen to be doing a story where you're investigating government secrets and they choose to, they could prosecute you. They could basically say that you're doing exactly the same thing that Keyes did and prosecute you in that manner. I honestly don't know if I can agree with him. The evidence, and I don't know the entire court case, but the evidence apparently shows that Keyes did indeed give out his password, and in the strictest sense, he did violate that law. He did violate the CFAA. So, considering the damages, would 2 years in federal prison seem adequate or logical? What's your opinion? Do you think 2 years was too much to be incarcerated in federal prison for what he did, considering the damages that occurred against the LA Times website? Or could there have been a different way of dealing with it, maybe with probation or whatever? An article on Inverse tells a little bit different story. It says that the story actually began in 2008. Keyes joined Fox 40 in Sacramento, California as an online news producer. He received a promotion 2 years later, but was ultimately fired because on his personal Twitter account, he expressed discontent about Fox 40's coverage. His boss chastised him. He didn't repent, so he was fired. However, his login credentials were not disabled. Over the next couple of months, he was trolling the company's social media account, sending, as the article says, indignant emails. And it led to some headaches. And then finally, in an online chat forum, Keyes shared his login credentials with an anonymous affiliated hacker who then said, Keyes said, go fuck some shit up. So what's your opinion? Do you think Keyes got the sentence he deserved? Or is he serving too much time for what amounts to a very small defacement of a one web page that only lasted for a short period of time? Like and subscribe. I'd like to hear your opinion, so leave a comment down below. Thank you.